It's beer o'clock on Real Ale Craft Beer. From Stella Artois to Leffe to Carling to Foster's, even some of the craft brewers, Northern Monk with their Faith, Brewdog with their Punk IPA. I remember Punk IPA when it was 6% ABV, and it kind of reduced itself down to 5.6% ABV, and I wouldn't be surprised in the future if it goes all the way down to 5% ABV, but we will see. We will see. This is the latest beer in the UK to be reduced with its ABV, and it wasn't high to begin with. This is the thing. This beer here was 3.8% ABV. I remember just a couple of years ago when this was rebranded, kind of done for the UK market. It didn't seem that long ago. 440 milliliter can, 3.8% ABV. It's got a month left on, I suppose, if you want to call it a sell-by date or a you know, drink it before it goes off type of thing. There's a month left on it. 3.8% ABV, clearly see. This looks exactly the same. Let's show you the two cans. Apart from the Carlsberg now being in a 500 milliliter can instead of a 440 milliliter can. It looks exactly the same. All the same branding. You look at the back, 3.8% ABV on the bottom there. 3.4. 3.4% ABV. Can you believe it? And the worst thing about this is that in UK law, you can brew a beer to be within 0.5% of one another. So this could be 2.9% ABV, and they could still sell it as a 3.4% ABV beer. How's about that then? It cost me £1.25 for a can. It's £5 for 4 cans. £5 of your good money for a beer that could potentially be 2.9% ABV. So without further ado, let's get these two beers out into a glass and see if things have changed. Let's pour the old Carlsberg. I should call it the 3.8% ABV Carlsberg. Let's pour that out. Here we go. There's a look at the beer. With a month left on the sell-by date, it's not looking bad at all, is it? Plenty of carbonation. Decent head. Light straw-coloured beer in the glass. There we go. There's all the beer too. Now then. 500 milliliter Carlsberg Danish Pilsner. 1847 onwards, it says. I wonder, well, I have two questions for you. First question, I wonder what the ABV was in 1847. And my second question is, if you were to buy Carlsberg Danish Pilsner in, say, Germany or Czech Republic or Denmark, where this is indeed from, what's the ABV there? Now immediately there is two distinct differences in the two beers. Look at that lovely frothy white head on the original Carlsberg at 3.8% ABV. Look at the thin, not much going on head on the new 3.4% ABV Carlsberg. You can even see there's a slight difference in the colour too. I'm seeing that For me, the 3.4% ABV version is slightly lighter in colour. So let's try the 3.4% ABV Carlsberg. Aroma. But sweetness in there. Not really much going on. Old Carlsberg. Little bit more hop, little bit more malt. Let's sip the new Carlsberg then. Blimey. Blimey. Very. I have to go in for a second taste here. A little bit of an astringent bitterness coming through. Very watery at 3.4% ABV. Very, I suppose you could call it refreshing if you like. Highly carbonated, a little bit of sweetness coming through. Not much of the way malt quality at all. And a little bit of a kind of like spicy, astringent, like bitterness on the back end. 3.4% ABV. Let's try the 3.8. Kind of similar. The only difference is there's a slight difference in the body. There's a little bit more of like a lemon hop flavour coming through. Like a little bit of, maybe like the smallest of touches of citrus coming through on this beer. Little bit of pepperiness, little bit of spiciness, bitter on the back end with the hops, more of a hop prominence on the beer, and a little bit more body. I suppose is why you're picking up a little bit of kind of like a little bit of that malt, a little bit of that biscuit malt. It's a different beer, even though it's half a, well, 0.4 technically is 0.4% ABV. There is a slight difference. And it's unfortunately, it's all to do with, so last year in the UK, the tax changed on, the taxation of alcohol changed. And ever since then, we've seen like Leffe go from 6.6% to 6%. I remember Stella Artois when it was 5.2% ABV. Apparently when it was first brewed, it was like 6%, 5.6% ABV. Then it went to 5.2. What is it now? 4.6% ABV. I can imagine Moretti being about 5% originally. I think that's about 4.6% ABV. They're all just being dumbed down. I mean, Carling. What's Carling now? 3.8. Foster's. 3.6 is Foster's. We're living in a world now where, I don't know, it's almost as if we're not allowed to make our own decisions. It's almost as if we're like, we have to have like the decisions, even like the strength of our alcohol. We've got to have that kind of made for us. Even, as I mentioned earlier, even the craft brewers, Brewdog have reduced their ABV on their Punk IPA. Northern Monk have reduced the ABV on their Faith. it's just like, I can't believe that, like, for me, the decision making. This is Carlsberg's flagship Pilsner. Probably their export is their premium brand. But this is the Carlsberg that grew an empire of brewing. They own Marston's, they own Witchwood, they own plenty of breweries all around the world. Yet, that growth come from their Pilsner. That growth come from they brewed a really good Pilsner. But they're willing to like drop the ABV on this Pilsner down to ridiculous strengths and hope, just hope that people don't realise, or just hope that people carry on buying it. I have drunk old beers recently from Incoop, Ushers. I bet when Ushers were in their prime in the UK, I bet they never thought that they would never ever exist. Same for Incoop. I bet there was a time where Incoop ruled the world and they thought, we're going to be around forever. Same as Watney's brewery, massive brewery. Same as Tetley's brewery, massive brewery. They ruled the waves. But what happens is, the biggest one is probably Courage Brewery. I bet they thought in a million years they would never, they would always exist. My point is here, the moment you get into a position to take advantage of the consumer, 9 times out of 10, human nature will take advantage of the so-called people below. The people that the customers. Let's take advantage of the customers. I think if this carries on, companies like Carlsberg, it will happen very, very quickly. They've got this massive kind of empire of breweries now, Marston's, Witchwood, Jennings, this massive portfolio of breweries. What will happen is that they've probably gone, we'll take advantage, 3.4% ABV, nobody's looking, nobody will mind. All of a sudden, boom, I think something will happen, something will tank, same as whatever happened at Courage, whatever happened at Incoop, whatever happened at Tetley's, whatever happened at Courage. They don't exist anymore. The decisions they made as breweries now put them in a position that they don't exist anymore. And the decision by Carlsberg to reduce the ABV of their Pilsner, I think, have put them on that same track of like taking advantage of people. Where do they sit? There's a disc cutter going in the lane now, so I'm going to wrap up this review. A timely disc cutter. What do I think then? What do I think? What's my rating of the new Carlsberg Danish Pilsner? Oh, shut up. It's poor. It's really poor. It's a really poor beer. I mean, a 3.8% ABV one wasn't like great, but it's slightly better. So, new Carlsberg 3.4% ABV Danish Pilsner, 3 out of 10. It's terrible. The old version, 5 out of 10. Slightly better, 5 out of 10. I hope you liked the video. Please put your comments in the comments box. Subscribe to our daily beer and food reviews. Give us a big fat thumbs up. Boom. Cheers.